Friends, how are you doing? The worst day of 2025 in the stock market has fallen upon us on February 21st today. And it's a Friday, end of the market week here. And let's talk about what's going on here. So, what a week. I mean, the week started off hot. I mean, we were rolling, we were rich, we were, we were drinking Cristal. I mean, we were sipping champagne. I mean, it was high society up in here. And then slowly, the market just drained all week. And here we are now. But, I think, I'm going to be honest, I think this is a rebuild. I think this is opportunity. And, what has caused all this here? Well, there's many things that have caused, the market to just do what it's doing today. There's a lot of uncertainty. The tariffs have come back up, things with the stock market, things are at all-time highs. And obviously what started most of this here in the middle of the week was a lot that started this collapse was, the Fed's coming out and, saying, hey, the defense, we're going to cut the budget here over the next 5 years, 8% every year. And, this started the collapse in the week. And so this is what we're dealing with. Now, March 4th, Trump will be giving a State of the Union speech. Okay, so this is not next week, but the week after that. And I can only imagine that more than likely when Trump gives that speech, the market will already be back up and running and functional. Or at that moment, the market is going to really take that opportunity to boost itself on expectation, hype, FOMO in the air. And the market will probably, everything we've lost, I suspect it will probably come back. I honestly God believe that. So with that, things right now that are pretty much great entry points. Here's just, a few stocks right here. You got Oracle bled down to 167, still high, but that's a great entry point if you're there for the long term. You've got Nimbus right here, just like under $40. Great. I mean, that thing's climbing. It's climbing. I mean, it's just climbing. And then you got the Vanguard and Russell 1000 Growth Index. I mean, just full of the best AI stocks right there. It's boring. It's nothing crazy about it. But it's a slow growth stock, somewhere to put an ETF to put your money and just watch it grow over time. So those are just some little things out there to pay attention to. So let's get right into it today. Let's start with Palantir. Let's start yapping here about Palantir. Here I go. So, I listen, the big dogs now, Tom Lee gave this amazing, even Dan Ives gave a talk about Palantir, I think I talked about that yesterday. And then Tom Lee gave one today. And Tom Lee, who is an amazing analyst, got a great rap sheet, came out and said, hey, we went through the DeepSeek situation a few weeks ago. We went through the tariff situation. Now we're going through this. And Tom Lee himself simply, you can find the interview. It's on YouTube. He gave it today. He simply said, hey, this is just a moment. It's going to pass by. This time next week, we'll be back up and running. We probably won't even remember this. This is a moment for people to jump in. Absolutely. The market still has a lot of room to go. We've still got big quarterlies coming for a lot of these AI stocks, new AI stocks that are making themselves be very well known here into 2025. And there's a lot of greener grass on their side of the hill here that we're getting up to. So, if Tom Lee and all these big analysts are saying that, I think that's pretty much that's a dead giveaway that, like, hey, this is just another hiccup. This is just a speed bump. So obviously, Palantir is still being above $100 at this point, which is still extremely high. The funny part about this is that Palantir really has not been at $90. When we were at that $80 range here back in the beginning of February, that was right before those Q4s came out to wrap up 2024. And they were big. It was the biggest quarterly Palantir's ever had. So with that, Palantir essentially the next day jumped up to, $105. And then since there, it's been just slowly climbing all the way. It almost made it here just days ago to 130. I mean, just it almost made it. And then, the situation happened, with the defense sector being ran through, going to start making cuts. And that's the whole thing too. And I've said this, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but with that statement that was made about our defense budget being cut, Nowhere in there did they give specifics. It was just a broad statement. Hey, we're going to make cuts in our defense. Okay, with what? We don't know. Maybe there's dumb stuff in our defense budget too that we don't know about. Well, I'm sure they're going to let us know here. So I said this last night. I still mean it that, listen, the market is ruthless. The market is cutthroat. The market, it will entrap you very fast. And this could have been a huge trap for investors that they got themselves caught in here with this. What do I mean by that? I mean that people that sold Palantir at a loss in the past, 48 hours, just because they were scared out of their mind, like, oh my God, it's they were listening to the wrong people, and, they were being told it's going back down to 40, 50 bucks. I was seeing those comments today. I was like, you have got to be joking me. Listen, Palantir is on such a roller coaster ride right now with, FOMO, which is pushing it up. But not only that, one thing to back that up, it's the earnings. And for, what we suspect right now with Palantir, that Palantir is in the beginning stages of going into $1 trillion market cap here in, a handful of time here. But we're also getting into $1 billion quarterly talk here. And this is what it looks like Palantir is going into. So Palantir, obviously, a big part of their bread and butter are these government contracts, these military defense contracts, okay? But nowhere in that broad statement that came out here did they say, hey, we're going to cut Palantir's contract specifically. No, it was never said, okay? So this could be the flip side of this that could happen here next week in the market. They could say, hey, we're going to increase our positions in these sectors in defense. Well, Palantir could be in that sector, okay? So I think this could turn around, good for people that are still sitting in Palantir and bad for people that are not going to buy Palantir at these prices and that sold out at a loss. I really do believe that 100%. So listen, for a lot of us, this isn't our first day in the stock market. We've seen this stuff before. This is just investing. It's not every day can be just 10% gains. I mean, it just can't be. If not, we would all be multimillionaires because it would be so easy to make money in the market. You're gonna have pushbacks before you have even bigger gains. It's just how it goes. This is just but a hiccup. This is a buy-in. It's a buy-in. It's on sale. It's a flash sale. So could Palantir take a little more time, a little more damage? Well, yeah, maybe more, but we're going to see what this next week brings in the market here. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen here. We had such a huge sell-off today in the market that I find it hard to believe that the market will keep selling off, especially with so many companies that are going to be, producing, some pretty big first quarterlies here, starting here very soon here, going into 2025. So I think the zeitgeist is going to start back up. Not the zeitgeist, but the FOMO is going to start back up here, where people are going to be like, okay, I'm just going to buy back in, and it's just going to accumulate to where Palantir is going to be back up to 115, 120 before we know it. I really do believe that 100%. So for Palantir to keeping these levels here all of 2025, the main thing that Palantir needs to keep doing is obviously continue getting deals, but also executing these quarterlies to where they're capturing 35-40% on top of each quarterly to grow them into $1 billion quarterlies here. And I think that's coming here very soon here before we know it. So friends, with Palantir, I don't think this is cause for like head for the hills, run away. I think this is nothing but with this stock chart with Palantir, the beginning of February, this stock was at 80 bucks. Now, 3 weeks later, we're back to 100 bucks. But that was a huge run. I mean, that was a huge run. We know we can get there, and more than likely, we can get back there a lot faster than what it took here in the last 3 weeks, okay? Just because we know we've already conquered it, we're probably going to go back up here before we know it. The market's going to continue to roll here. Listen, when Trump gives his State of the Union speech here in just some time, I have no doubt that he's going to talk about AI. I have no doubt that he's going to talk about stocks. He's going to talk about stock market. He's going to talk about that $500 billion AI, investment into AI stocks. He's going to talk about all this stuff. So with that, I suspect that the market will do very well in the beginning of March here. And a lot of these stocks, if they haven't recovered already, they will recover. Listen, Palantir is sitting at $100, even $90. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. I know it's not going to last because you know why? I know institutions, big money, are looking at this. I had people texting me today and they were like, "I'm buying in Palantir right now." I was like, "Yeah, I totally, I get it. I totally get it." I think people are just going to start buying back in here next week. I think they're just going to start buying up. If somebody's telling you they're not, they're probably lying. This is probably good as it's going to get here with Palantir with sell. I mean, it's probably going to, before we know it, it's going to, something's going to happen here. And BigBear, I swear this weekend, friends, I will not mention BigBear and Palantir in the weekend. Okay, I promise I will talk about other stocks. I promise here. But BigBear, I mean, what an amazing 2 weeks with BigBear. I mean, just like we made so much freaking money off BigBear in the past 2 weeks. Okay, now with that, here's the situation. Just like Palantir, we know we can touch these levels here with BigBear now. And don't kid yourself. BigBear is still, people are still buying it. They're still holding it. I consider this almost like good what happened today with BigBear. And hear me out here. So BigBear took damage today with the rest of AI stocks, the market in general, okay? BigBear, it fell to this $6 and some change, just right under $7, okay? This is remarkable to me that BigBear is still holding this very high position. I mean, two weeks ago, this stock was trying to support $4, okay? Then, a week ago, we went up to almost like $11 here. And now we're down to almost $7, okay? So, if BigBear can keep this momentum until something else big happens here, whenever that may be, another deal, a speech from the CEO, something like that, my hope in my suspicious side of me says that BigBear will maintain this $6 to $8 position here for a little bit of time. On a bad day, again, we might see $5 here, but there's a lot of stocks in the market right now that I would dare say that BigBear is in a better position with what's happened recently with them, with these defense contracts, than a lot of other stocks, okay? Now, BigBear 2 is about to release its Q4 to wrap up 2024. Once again, I'm not expecting a lot out of that quarterly. What I'm waiting for here is the new quarterlies into 2025 to see if they kind of, with these new deals and what more could come, that we start to see a little more shaping of, bigger earnings here in 2025, which is really all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for BigBear to go to like 20, 30, $50 this year. Right now, there's no proof, there's no evidence that BigBear can sustain that. Listen, here's the God's honest truth. I will tell you this about BigBear. I cross my heart. I am going to be completely honest with you right now. Let's just say, hypothetically, next week, market opens back up, something gets said, and everybody forgets about what just happened here. And the AI stocks start going crazy. BigBear starts getting momentum again. Articles start to come out again about BigBear, like it's untapped, a great stock, it's going, because those articles were coming out here the past 2 weeks. And let's just say maybe BigBear gets caught something like SoundHound did here just a month or so ago, where SoundHound went from $4, $8, $15, almost $26. Okay, let's say BigBear did that. No news, no more deals, nothing like that. It just gets caught in this FOMO hype run, this squeeze. That's what we're saying here. And BigBear goes to $20. I would sell out immediately. Why would I sell out? I would sell out immediately because I know the crash would be so horrific with BigBear, because at the moment, and listen, I love BigBear. This is not me saying, I'm not being negative here about BigBear, so don't think I'm in here being bearish with it. What I am saying is that profit that would be in front of you, take it, because BigBear at this moment cannot sustain a $20 price limit right now. Target, even $15 is like really pushing the limits for it to sustain that. Now, why am I saying? I'm just saying that because BigBear still has a lot of problems too, okay? And I was saying this like a month, 2 months ago too, when Big Bear was at $2 before all this happened. I still mean it. Big Bear has debt. Big Bear needs more deals. For the survival of Big Bear to remain at these levels, it needs to get more deals. 100%. I mean, and that's the fun part about Big Bear right now, is that Big Bear is in this beautiful zone right now where all it needs is one more big deal. Big deal. And what's a big deal for Big Bear? A big deal for Big Bear at this moment would be another $200 million contract. $300-400 million, it would solidify a great year for Big Bear, the biggest year probably, definitely bigger than 2024, okay, to compound these deals that we're seeing right now, okay? So that's the fun part, the dangerous part if you've sold out. But too, with that, what I think, I don't think I finished my thought a moment ago, but with Big Bear going down to these levels right now, I know and I suspect that a lot of people are going to buy back into Big Bear next week to run it back up to $7 to $8 somewhere in time frame next week. I would suspect. I think, especially if Big Bear doesn't give up any more position right now, especially early in the next week, I think people are going to get impatient. In the first sign of greenness with the market, people are going to start to buy up Big Bear. I truly do believe that, because I don't think people, I think there's more people that understand what's going on with Big Bear than there, and I don't say this to be mean, but this is going to sound mean, but then there are more naive people to believe that like Big Bear is just like nothing else is going to happen. I think that is a very dangerous position. Even if Big Bear bleeds back down to like $4, I'm okay with that, because what I'm looking at for Big Bear is that it is in great position to be a rocket ship if they get one more big deal. And I don't think it's by any coincidence that they've gotten these two contracts that are with the defense, and the new CEO has a defense background, military background with Trump administration, all that. And the fact that these now that they're going through and slashing the defense sector, they're gonna find money, and they're gonna use it to put it elsewhere. They might say, hey, we want to increase what we've done with Big Bear. Big Bear is doing a really good job. We want to increase that. It could happen. And I'll just say this about SoFi. I might talk about SoFi this weekend, give a more detailed thought about it. But SoFi is holding on to this position. And SoFi, it's funny because SoFi is at this more realistic number, share price right now compared to like all these AI stocks that are just going freaking nuts. I bought more SoFi today. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I had another account. I bought more SoFi because this isn't a short-term play for me. I'm in SoFi this is going to be a household name, a household bank in the next decade. I think SoFi is in this moment right now of huge growth, huge, its customer basis right now are the younger generation that are graduating college. They're getting married, they're buying houses, their cars, they're going to start businesses, they're going to need business loans, their bank accounts, savings accounts, credit cards, and SoFi, with SoFi's accounts, you can literally buy stocks if just on your bank account. I mean, if you don't have a SoFi account, I recommend you make one. It's free. It is fantastic. It's easy. Put $1 in it. Who cares? You don't have to put anything in it, but it's an amazing account. And it will help you understand more why SoFi is growing at such a rapid rate right now, especially with the younger generation, because they offer so much. I mean, it's so slick, smooth, easy to understand, transactions, everything. I mean, it's just so fantastic. Clean cut. It is. They know what they're doing. They know who they're going after. They are going after the younger generation, and obviously mid, older, everything's with them, but they're really pushing in on the younger generation. And they've said this. This is statistically, they know this. They show it in their quarters. They want you to know this. Why do they want you to know this? They want you to know that because they want you to be a long-term investor right now. That's why friends, like, listen, I can tell you till I'm blue in the face right now to keep buying SoFi, but I don't think investors are really going to see the shining moment of investing in SoFi until maybe a handful of years from now. to where SoFi gets into this place where maybe it gets so expensive, it finally gets into like billion-dollar quarterlies. SoFi gets at a very high price, share price, and they say, hey, we're actually going to do a split, okay? And that's rare for banks to do, but, it does happen, especially the first go-around. SoFi is still a very young company, very young stock. And then SoFi gets into the position, and this is coming, bet your bottom dollar, this part's coming. SoFi gets into a position where they say, hey, we are going to start giving dividends for our shareholders, okay? So imagine, years down the road from now, you have been compounding shares of SoFi, then there's a split, then they give dividends. Friends, you have more right there with something you've been buying for the past few years of a company that's been killing it with quarterlies. Revenue has a huge customer basis, of strong customer basis. Who knows where the market cap's going to be. And that right there probably will be, what you have in SoFi, I dare say, would be bigger than most people's retirement funds after working, a blue collar job for, 30, 40 years, or, even maybe, tech people. I mean, depending on how much capital and how much you can buy into SoFi right now. I mean, really think about what that could be years down the road from right now. That's why, like I said, I can sit here until I'm blue in the face and tell you to buy SoFi. Buy SoFi. SoFi to me is it's going to take some time here. SoFi, I've been buying SoFi for 2 years now, okay? And we've been watching SoFi execute quarterly after quarterly after quarterly. And I've been sitting here with everyone else and buy SoFi. I was buying SoFi before Jeremy from finance. That's how crazy this is. And I was wanting to I was leaving comments on Jeremy's page a year or so ago. I was like, why aren't you buying SoFi? And finally, he didn't buy it because of me, obviously, but he bought it. Everyone's buying SoFi, and that's what I mean by it. Everyone sees what's going on there. To me, and SoFi is one of those stocks where if I run into someone and they say man, what do you think I should buy out there? Most of the time I'll send people to ETFs just to play it safe, but SoFi is one of those stocks where I'm like, dude, this stock is something you need to buy for later on in the future. It's really going to do well into the future. I believe that we've got all the proof to show it. It's going to take time. Listen, the biggest thing that is going to hurt most investors with SoFi, and I've seen this for the past 2 years that I've been buying SoFi, it's patience. One thing that you have to give to SoFi is patience. And why is that? Because at the end of the day, SoFi, it's not a tech stock, it's a bank. And it's not fun and wild and sexy like a lot of these tech stocks. And what is the market like right now? What do investors, what do they want? What are they looking for? They're looking for tech stocks that are just, go, give me 10 more, 5%, 15%. That's not SoFi. SoFi to me is just a solid investment into the future that has high potential, that each quarterly gets bigger. It's going to have these big push-ups and then fall back down to a new range, new quarterly, going to execute it, big push, and then find a new position. That's been the general history of SoFi. But obviously we're going into bigger numbers here. So, midsummer, yeah, SoFi, I definitely believe we could be at $20, especially we'll be in Q1, Q2 of 2025 here, and we'll definitely know more about how the year is turning out here. So I bought more. That's all I can tell you. I bought more. I think this is going to be something you're going to wish you bought here later on in the future. Friends, take care of yourself, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.